Just checking what the camera is, y'all. Okay, I want to get y'all the best view. Nope. Guess we'll start there. That might help. Okay, so I don't know how long I'll be on live, but I do want to finish up this bag if possible. My husband's on his way home, so yay! But I usually do give him some time to decompress so that he's been around people all day. And I just want to make sure that he's, happy to be home. He doesn't feel too overdone. Ooh, and he says he has a treat for me. Yay! So I'm going to go ahead, and this is the bottom connector that I'm trying out for stuff for the bottom of the bag. Do I want to just like talk through this? I think I'm going to go ahead and talk through this. I was going to put a book in my ear, but I'm not feeling like I want anything in my ear. Sometimes it makes me feel a little suffocated. Suffocated is definitely the wrong term. Boop. Okay. But it's also kind of claustrophobic. That's what it makes me feel. So let's put back on the music. The rainy nights. I'll probably sing along sometimes. So, sorry, not sorry. So I'm trying out a connector that's a lot like, I might as well go live with TikTok as well, I guess. I'm going to be all talkative. I feel for a friend of mine, Maggie. She makes the cutest little felted creatures. And I know she gets a lot of, oh my God, you charge how much for this? If you've ever felted something, yeah. Do, 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 do. Sorry, y'all. Yep. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm on the right account. Come on. Why does it do that? Okay, never mind. I'll just keep it live on here. Better not be leaving trash in my car, though. Rainy nights. We're live on YouTube for the rest of the bag. I'm probably just going to kind of keep it chill, but enjoy me. Become one of the most successful British female recording artists of the decade. The child appeared on Easton's debut album, Tick Me Time, produced by Christopher Neal. Okay. So all this is just me putting the connector together. Oh, I love this song. Train, he works from night to again to night, home again to find me waiting for him. It's really hard for me to not have something in my ear, though, sometimes when it comes to like a book, something that'll shut my mind off. Because I have a bit of a daydreamy type mindset, and it's just, it can be annoying at times because I'm trying to do something, but my mind just starts to drift off, and that's when I make mistakes. And I don't want to make mistakes on this bag. Where's the other one? To find me waiting for him. Baby takes the morning train, walks from 5, and then he takes another home again to find me waiting for him. Come on. This lighter's slowly dying. I gotta find my other one. Okay, so normally I will like mark my zipper and do both sides at once, but because this has this curve here, I'm gonna end up I end up just doing it one at a time sides because I can't just trim that down. I think I already actually have it trimmed down anyways to adjust for my lack of 3/8 seam allowance. Because I do not have the foot nor the patience to change said foot. My baby takes the morning train. He works from 9 to 5, and then he takes another home again to find me waiting for him. My baby. Oops. Come on, you. 9 to 5, and then takes another home again to find me waiting for him. Baby takes the morning train. Okay. Oh, it's going to be challenging because this is like really wanting to curl because of how it was stored for the longest time. I probably could have gotten an iron out and steamed it a little bit, but I guess I didn't feel like doing that. So here we are. Now I am still going to do some marking on this, and that is because I want to make sure that when I put the other side on that it matches with how the zippers. So she's so close now. This girl is half his age. Oh, what the hell? It's got like weirdly stretched out though. So jealous, you know how bad girls get. Oops, sorry. Trying not to hit the camera, but apparently I'm going to be hitting it a couple of times. There we go. His car is warm and dry. I'm not gonna lie, there's quite a few police songs that don't really stand the test of time, I guess we could say. Oh, so good. Okay. The accusations. Okay. Oh, that's what I was gonna do though. So I'm laying down my zipper and I'm just kind of trying to at least Let's do this because I already took the tape off. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down my zipper. Okay. And I'm just going to mark on the other side of the zipper. Like, I'm not pulling too tightly, but I am keeping it a little taut. Okay, so there, I marked that zipper. So weird. Every once in a while, I can smell my little peep bunny. Let's go ahead and get that. All right. Okay. Boop. Okay. Wasn't sure if that was my husband or the cat. When he gave the lyrics to Agneta to read, she began to cry because the lyrics so resonated. Okay, so I'm opening up this side. You can use your seam roller. You can use an iron if you're using. Oh, I just noticed that. Well, that's intriguing. I don't know why I didn't notice that before, but I usually do the whatever fabric I'm using or whatever, main vinyl. Oh, I love this song. I usually use that even for the zipper, but here it looks like I did not do that. All right, so now I'm top stitching. When I takes it off, small. Okay, let me do this. Now, normally I don't worry about like tacking this down, but because it's such a different shape than just, two rectangles, it does help to go ahead and do that. It also helps that I'm not going to be like having to trim it like I do my regular zipper panels. Okay. And then after I do the other side, I'll go ahead and trim that down. But that looks nice. Okay, good. When she calls your name inside. So I'm taking my marks and using those to make sure that the zipper lines up with did I just like really not cut that very well? I'm thinking I did not cut that very well. We'll see. Okay, making sure my zipper is nice on here. Yeah, wow. Might have done a good job of marking a lot of things on here, but I did not do a great job of cutting things, that's for sure. Winner takes it all. Ooh. Okay. All right, so once again, we're gonna open this up and press it down nicely. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this, fold that back, and then use the zipper. So I'm pushing, and then just kind of sliding my hand down. Just gonna kind of start the process. I'm just gonna make sure my zipper's sitting nice. And if your zipper's trying to like twist a little bit, pull up the left side with one hand and make sure that your lining is pulled nice and tight out. That's going to kind of help to get that to sit properly. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. Now, so yeah, definitely got to do that then because I forgot. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure out a piece. Watch stuff fall to the side, of course. So measure out a piece of boning. I'm going to measure out 2 pieces. There we go. Because I don't like those sharp edges on it, I'm going to use a trick that I did when I used to make corsets. I'm just going to kind of touch the sides a little bit so that they're not sharp. It shouldn't matter in here, but I just like to make sure. Oh, that's going to, damn it. This is why I hate going down in. Now, you can see that one side is taller than the other. I'm not going to really worry about that. I know it's going to, I can adjust it in the gusset, so I'm not like concerned. I'm just clipping a couple of my basting stitches here so that I can actually, you know, fit it in there. The nice thing is that this is plastic, so it can be sewn through. That's not a huge deal. You can sew through this on most machines. But if you're worried about that, just go ahead and cut it a little bit shorter. Make sure that you're within, come on, the seam allowance that you're using, which for this pattern should be 3/8. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now it has just a little bit more stability to it. Okay, so now I'm going to trim off the lining pieces. Ooh, come on. So I'm trying to do that cutting under thing. So it's kind of at an angle. I'm also trying not to like cut the vinyl itself. Okay. Alrighty. So I've got that set, but actually right now I have to set, oh good lord, I have to set that aside. So I need this and this. So first I need to do, because I'm trying to mimic everything, I'm going to do 3/8 on this first. So, there we go. So I've set up my magnet so that I can do a nice fit 3/8. Full speed ahead. Okay, making sure. At this point, I'm less following my brick and more following the first level of stitching. First line, I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, so now I've got that. I need 2 D-rings. Okay. All right, so we're kind of going off the books here because this is a little bit from the Catalina by the same creator. I'm going to mark my centers because I want to make sure that I know where I'm placing this. 5/8. Okay. Because I'm going to use a ruler to make sure that it's stuck down nicely. Okay. Push back just a little bit so you can see a little better. Okay, so I've marked my centers. So I'm going to move that out of the way for a moment. So, sorry, again, this is mainly trying to make sure I have the right digits. Okay, I think that's going to be good. So what did I fold over at? 1.5. Alrighty. I don't plan on doing this method very often. I just remember really wanting to try it. Because I thought it would be kind of cool. And because I remember I was having trouble with the the way the connectors were going in. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of tape here. Come on, let go. I'm going to slide a D-ring onto one end. And then I'm going to fold that over. Okay. I'm going to do the same over here. Okay. I'm just going to make sure that I'm folding them over nice and even. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to mark it with a clip. And then, actually, I'm going to have to do this first. I'll tell you why, because your kiss is on my list. Your kiss, I can't resist. All right. Okay. So now I have that. This is the other thing I need to mark is the centers of here. Your kiss is on my list. Your kiss again on my list. Kisses on my list. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to kind of make sure I've got it there. All right. And then what I need is a ruler. Here we go. Well, that's the middle. So, okay. Okay, so this should be it. I'm going to use the bunny mug to kind of hold that in place for a moment. I'm right on the edge. See, I feel like that's not right. So let's just do this. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing it this way very often. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so that means I can move that. This. Check this side. Yeah, see, that's not right. Dang it. Let me see. This will help too if I get a measurement. Okay, this is. So there needs to be 1.5. Okay. I have to do it on this side. Okay. That should be the middle. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now we're in the middle. Okay, dokie. Let's see. Move that, this. And I'm actually going to start down here because it won't be as noticeable. Come on, you. Okay, so I'm going to make sure to get as close as I can because I do not have, I can work with it though. It really should get 2 rivets, at least 1 on each side, but honestly, I don't think it's going to need it. It's such a large connector. I can't imagine that it's going to need it. Now, y'all keep me in your thoughts for a second. Come on. Because I didn't check the bobbin before I started this endeavor. So let's hope that this bobbin holds out. I've done a lot with this bobbin. Okay. How long is it going to take him to get home? Interesting. He is taking his sweet time getting home. Unless he went to walk out the door and a customer decided to bother him. Look up an ambition and on stretch and try to come alive. Like me and jump from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. Make a living. Now I did pull these through. I did also backstitch because it is technically a construction stitch. And what you would be able to do is put a rivet right here. I'm really not going to worry about it. It's got such a long connector. I can't imagine that there'll be an issue. And seeing as I started the stitches here in the middle of the bottom, I really don't think there'll be an issue. So that is taken care of. We're going to fold in our rings. We're going to bring over this. We're going to find where the bloody lining fell. Okay. Make sure I'm good there. Okay. Oh, Jesus. This is actually larger. That is okay. I can work with that. Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Getting by. It's all taking and no giving. Use your mind. You could. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. Okay, so I always like pin it or clip it one side and then clip my lining, which I see is actually just about the same size. So I'm going to have to be careful with that. I do know that this waterproof canvas has a little bit of stretch, but I need to be really careful to make sure that it's not, come on. There we go. Because I know it's not going to stretch enough, though, which is why I usually have my gusset lining a little bit larger anyways. Gonna stitch it down. On the pop and AC charts. 38 songs have gone to the top 10 on the AC chart. He's a member of the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's been an honorary Kennedy Center. All right, so pull that back. So technically, these should be the same size. And this one actually is a little bigger, which is fantastic. That's actually really, really good for me because that means that it will... Oh, no diamond. Okay. All right. So I'm kind of folding these together. Alrighty. You know what? I'm going to have to undo this because those need to be put on. Actually, I don't have to undo the whole thing, thankfully, because I noticed it with the bigger end. So all I have to do is undo the stitching on the zipper where the zipper is. And I use my here we go. I use my tweezers to pick up these stitches. Come on. There we go. Okay. Now all I have to do is stick one of these on here. I was just thinking about that suddenly. Like, where are my zipper pulls at? Because I know I have to put them on. Come on. Oh, my Lord. Just let you chill you out. There we go. I'm going to lift this up, shove that in there. And before I forget, I'm going to quickly remove the zipper pull because it was in the way. And this way I didn't have to sew over the whole thing. And I even caught it before I top stitched. So there wasn't like a whole lot of stitching to go through and to worry about. And before I do anything else, I'm going to put the other side on as well. I enjoy using the zipper jig because it does help me a lot because of my nails, but I still can't put it, like I said once, my superpower is being able to put on zippers without any assistance, but I do like the zipper jig a lot. Okay, here we go. Now that we fixed that mistake, oh, that would have been bad. Alrighty, I've got that nicely centered. Ooh. Oh, I love this song. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is the same exact thing. So I've got that all nice and top stitched. Hang on, because I can't see. There we go. So yes. Ta-da! Oh, Lord have mercy. The nice thing is because I clip my centers to find it for the connector, I have it now for my zipper. Because I want to put that center right over that zipper, the middle of the zippers. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I've got this all set. And then, sorry. Okay, oops, move that. Okay, here we go. Once again, just going to sew those together at the seam allowance, 3/8. My baby brought me a Star Crunch.
I brought you 2. One for today, one for later.
Oh, brought me a Star Crunch with caveats. Conditions. I can only eat one of them right now. I may love my my snack daddy on TikTok, but he wrong. I love a Star Crunch. Ugh. Okay, so before you top stitch this side, what you want to do is pull this over so that you kind of have that nice curve going, and then slide your hands. If you want to clip, I think I'm going to go ahead and do Madre de Dios as I throw clips on the floor. Hang on, because I don't want to forget to put this on. Let's put it on the zipper side. Okay. Because this is the tab, and I'm putting it on top. Ugh. And then trimming that, because remember with binding, you want everything to be nice and level. Okay, so see, so that'll be hanging inside. So if somebody wants to hang something off of this when they put in their purse, like keys or that, they can do so. Okay, back to this. Okay. So I'm just kind of like running my hands along it. And what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that the lining is laying where it needs to. So if your lining is a little bit bigger, it'll just push it up and it'll be fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to, because as you can see, my gusset's bigger than my zipper. So I'm just going to kind of go in and tack everything down, and I'm going to smooth that transition. Trim my threads. Try to remember if I took my pills. I'm starting to hurt. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of continuing that basting stitch over here that's on the zipper. And just kind of making it as natural as possible of a transition. See how I've got the stitching? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it right side out for a moment. And I'm going to start trimming down everything. So I'm going to go right here up against my zipper panel and just boop right there. Okay. Every word I said, you, and I loved you forever. Okay, and then right up here again, I'm just going to kind of transition that in so that it's a nice smooth curve. Now, I know exactly what happened and why this is bigger, because technically it should be smaller. And it's bigger because I thought that that's how I needed to correct it. And then I would trim down the gusset if I needed to. I have since then learned that it's just better to cut down my zipper panel to fit the gusset. Now, the only challenge, of course, with that is the fact that this is not an easy panel to trim down. And I believe I fixed that. I've adjusted the pattern piece for that. So now, I don't know why I put those away. Now, we bind. So I'm going to make sure that my seams on the side, my gusset and my zipper panel. And I'm also going to take a look and see how well these match up. There we go. Just to make sure that the curves have that same natural, so see, this way they're the same on both sides. Now, if I did my seams right, my centers that I already marked for, say, the connectors should be there. They're a little off, but that just means that I have now created new centers. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm just making sure that I've got nice clean center snips. Okay. All right. Here comes the fun and excitement. So I need lots of clips. I need to take a drink. All right. And I'm going to hope that my gusset's not too big, because I had to adjust my panels. So I always start with my front panel, because this is my show. This is what I'm going to be looking at the most. Fold my handle down, and I'm going to find my center that I literally just snipped. There we go. On the top. So I'm going to put like 3 clips. If you only put 1 clip, you're going to have a problem with it slipping a lot. So your best bet is just to go ahead and start with that many clips. Okay, I'll turn you back over here so you can see me better. I'm going to throw clips on the floor everywhere. Okay, so here is what I do with my Erica. I'm going to get my bottom clipped nicely. And then what I'm going to do is try not to knock you down while I get my little scissors. Okay, these are my little Femore clipping scissors. All right, so I'm going to, you'll see where that point is here. I'm going to make sure that I clip just a wee bit in. And then I'm going to do it again on the other side. The reason I'm doing this is because I really do want to get a nice kind of turn so that this has more of a flat bottom. I just want to make sure that the clip doesn't go too far in. Okay, and I'm going to kind of clip this round a little bit, I think. Okay. And then I just start clipping around. It looks like it's going to fit nicely. Okay. Now I still have my zipper zipped. I still have the zipper closed. That's because I really want to make sure that the shape is what I want. So I'm just kind of going around. And I'm going to be sewing gusset side up the first go around, my tacking round. Oh, that's going to fit nicely. Ooh, okay. And then I will sew my true seam allowance. When I do my true seam allowance, I will do that in the round, and I'll show you what I mean when I do that. Oh, God. I will say I'm coming to the end of my energy today, but I really want to get this bag done. I after having so many days of not being able to work, I really feel like I need something to feel accomplished. It's very rough on my sense of being and my sense of worth to quote unquote laze about. I know I'm not lazing about. I don't have the energy to do anything other than sit or lay and heal. The anemia doesn't let me do much right now. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not overdoing it. Sitting down for lunch and really taking my time to eat did help, but I can already feel all that energy that I had just draining. Also, even if your gusset's a little big, on those curves, you're going to want to clip on the tight ones at least. It'll really help to sit it where you want to. And it's going to also help you when you sew it because it'll spread and push where you need it to. Every once in a while, I'm like, man, I must be trying to talk like I know what I'm doing. And then I'm like, well, I do know what I'm doing. Stop it. So let me set that aside. I'm going to put up these clips so I don't end up throwing them off. And I think I'm going to move you again. So hold on. Okay, I want you to be able to see me sewing. There we go. I don't know if that's helping or not. There we go. Okay. This way you'll be able to see everything a little bit better. So, first things first, because I mentioned it, I'm going to go ahead and check my bobbin. And there is, I think there's enough to go. You know what? I think there's enough to get around at least. We shall see. But this lets me know to keep an eye on it. When your bobbin thread starts to really curl, that's when you definitely need to be checking it. So as I said, I'm going to do what I call a tacking stitch. I don't know if anybody else calls it that, but that's what I call it. I'm going to tack it down at 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to do that for two reasons. One, it's going to help me to not have to fight it for a perfect seam allowance right off the bat. So if I go outside of this seam allowance or it doesn't look just right, that's okay. It's just a tacking one. So what I'm also going to do is when I get to this corner here, is I'm going to do a hard pivot. Right there. Oh, Jesus. This is why you make sure to lift your foot when you're not sewing. Okay. So, hard pivot. And what I'm hoping that's going to do is give it a nice flatter bottom. And I'm moving the pieces off. And I've seen folks that just like put it together and then just go. I don't like doing that. I have had to do that. I'm gonna open up my zipper real quick because it's gonna help when I get around to this panel. I don't like doing that because there's a chance that something's gonna shift and I'm not gonna notice it. And I think I know I get a better result when I clip. But again, that's another reason why I do a tacking stitch. So see how I'm kind of shifting it around? That's to make sure that I'm putting it in line with my panel. And that's why I do gusset side up. And I'm also taking the corner of my screwdriver, digging it in and pushing down so that the panel will stay where I want it to. Boy, 81 was either about dance songs or love songs, I've noticed. Because this is not telling me what it is, but it sounds like Blondie. But I could be wrong. Damn it, come on. Again, this is just a tacking stitch. It's okay if it doesn't look great. It definitely tells me that I needed to clip even up here on this large round. And probably a little bit of that clipping would help because of the boning piece that's in it. I don't like a super tight gusset. I think it pulls at the fabric too much when you turn it. go. I'm lifting the foot when I pull at the fabric to kind of maneuver it sometimes because I want to make sure that it's letting me pull that fabric. Yep, this is definitely Blondie. There we go. So what you have to remember is you did a hard pivot on the other side. So you need to remember to do that hard pivot on this side. All right. All right. Did I finish? Oh, yeah. There we go. Yep, yep, yep. So now I do think I'm not going to have enough to put the binding on with this. First things first, we're going to zip it up. We're going to kind of check and see, mainly because I want to see what didn't already catch in the 1/8. So I can already see that my pocket didn't catch there, and that's fine. It'll catch in the quarter. But if there's anything else that didn't catch, I need to see that right now. But I know that pocket doesn't. It usually doesn't on that round. Okay, so we've got that set up. Bear with me for just a moment. I need to go find some binding. Boy out here? Huh? Okay, good. Just making sure you didn't follow me in the room. All right. Thank you for holding. Okay, so I'm going to use this gross grain ribbon. I really like it. It matches the thread that everybody's been excited about, the thread and all of that. So I'm like, well, let's do it. All right. So I'm just doing kind of this rough measuring. I'm going to use pinking shears to cut that. I'm going to pinking shear the other side. And then I know there's enough. It's just kind of a... There we go. In fact, there might be just enough of this for me to use for the Beetlejuice bag. That'll be kind of cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that. Oops. Dang it. Come here. I'll put that with the Beetlejuice bag. And then if I decide I like that and if there's enough of it, that's what I'll do. I do not know what's on my cup. Okay. Ooh, 1988. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside for a second. I'm gonna get my tape. I'm always a little paranoid. Okay. Get that. So I'm always a little paranoid that it's going to move. So that's why I use 1/2 inch. I have thought about getting the 3/4 inch. Like, I think Lauren uses 3/4 inch when she does binding. I just like not having it in the seam. And because the true seam allowance I use is actually 1/4 inch. The seam allowance that is recommended for this bag and the pattern is 3/8, just so you know. I do a quarter because I don't want to guess at that seam allowance, and it does not affect the bag in a negative way. It is 1/8 less. So if you decide to do a different seam allowance, be consistent. Now, take notes of what you did, and if you don't like it, then you can always not do that again. Okay, so now both sides of my bias tape, or gross grain, I'm sorry, is ready to go. Put one over there. And I don't start at the bottom, so you can see what I do. I start over here, as when you open the bag, you're not really going to see that side as much as you do when you look into the bag. Here we go. So I don't peel the whole thing off. I just start with a little bit. And actually, I don't go like under here or on top of here. I go against the chunk of the seams. And this way I can put it straight on the middle. Knowing that I'm going to be stitching this in the round, I do want to make sure that the underside has a little bit more than the top so that I know that it's caught. Come on, you. It's much easier to apply this when the bag is when I've got the other side on, and I would do both sides and then go back and bind both sides, but I really do like binding one side at a time. Up here, I do tend to kind of just go with the flow of it. If it doesn't want to sit on the seam itself, then I'm not going to fight it. But I am going to do my best to line up those without compromising. Okay, so now I'm going to start folding over, and I do put a clip right where I have folded over. Now, here's the thing. Come on, sit up. So I'm going to go along this bottom. Remember, I have that hard pivot I really want to do. So I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to push out and push out. When I get over here, I'm going to pinch and push down. That should help me know where I'm even going to put a clip. Boop. That's where my hard pivot is. Same with over here. So I pinched it down, and then I'm going to push down this seam. So see? And then I'm going to make sure that that's actually on the seam itself, or the edge. There we go. And then I'm going to put a little clip right here, and that's where my hard pivot is. Your kiss is on my list. Your kiss I can't resist. Okay, let me put this here. We go. Just so you know, I'm not going to sacrifice quality for a good angle for y'all. If you don't mind the camera being moved around, then I will gladly move the camera around so that your angle is better and I'm still able to get the product done right. Okay, so let me do this. There we go. I'm moving back a little or I won't be able to sew it. All right, so I am starting down at the middle. Again, I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance for my true seam. I did not change out my bobbin, so we are going to say a small prayer to the. I think I've sacrificed enough clips on the floor for the goddess of the bobbin to be kind to me. All right, let's see. I'll just keep an eye on it. You're getting moved, aren't you? Yep. Okay. I got to move you over here so that you can see, but not be in the way. And not getting pushed off into the either region. Okay. So I see where that is. I'm actually going to fold this little corner over and down. Okay. And then hard pivot up. Now, this is the other reason that I wait to do a true seam allowance, so that I'm not fighting with all these layers just to get a nice seam. Because this bag can be a little tricky in that. This is what I call sewing in the round. I believe that is what it's called, but it is also what I call it. You're sewing in the round of the bag. This will help you get a really, really good shape to your bag, because you're kind of already shaping it into that rounded, to the curves. What's going on here? What's all this? There we go. And that's why I keep my... I just wanted to double check that I was still sewing, that I wasn't just puncturing. Without a bobbin, that's pretty much all you're doing is puncturing. Come on. Okay. So, I had mine going up on that side. I'm going to keep going a little bit, and then I'm going to push that little triangle over from where my hard pivot's going to be. And you actually want to overshoot your hard pivot and then pick up your foot and go across. Come on, baby. Is that it? Oh, yeah. It is the bobbin that keeps on giving. Thank you, goddess of the bobbin. Okay. So, it did not catch one side of the pocket. The other side is fine, but this side it did not catch. So, I'm going to kind of stuff it in. Really getting it in there into the seam in that. Okay. And then I'm going to go over here. And I need to place a clip so I remember where it is. Right there. Okay. Those pockets can be a little tricky. So I'm going to go a little bit outside. I'm going to start there. On. And I'm not going too far out. Just enough that it's going to catch that pocket now. And that's why I do the front. So I already know now when I go to do the other side that I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye on that pocket. Yep, caught it. Okay. Because what I did was I didn't just like push a little bit and no, I went in with my screwdriver and I shoved it in back into the seam. There we go. All right. Now for the other side, and then we flip it out and we are done. Sorry, I was like, where's the rivets? Didn't I rivet this? Oh, yeah, I did. But you can't see them because of the pocket. Okay. Now, I will have this swivel hook up here. So I'm going to take a piece of, let me move you so that you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Sorry if that was quick, but I'm going to take a piece of the, couple pieces, I guess, of washi tape. And that's not going to be really great, but it is going to help me with the first sew around. It doesn't feel like the middle. Okay. I'm not 100% about this middle here, but we'll see. But so again, I'm going to clip my ends. Actually, before I start clipping, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to do what I didn't do on the other side and do a few little snips. Okay. Oops, where are you going? I'm kind of making sure right now that my middle is actually where I want it, because I don't want to do a deep clip for my hard pivot and find out that it's not in the right space. I do not know how useful that washi tape's going to be. Washi tape is okay, but if it's really inexpensive washi tape, like this was super cheap, I can't say that it's actually going to be that useful. So we're just going to take it off because it's bothering me and I keep wanting to fix it. Okay. So yes, that's in the middle. Okay, good. I just want to make sure. So this is where my bottom corner is. Just going to line that up, and I'm going to do kind of a deeper cut than I do with the rest of the snips. Okay. I'm going to do that over here. Just going to kind of follow along until I get to that hard pivot place that I want. Clip, and just kind of clip around. All right. Now we're going to clip. There we go. And I'm also looking at this part here to make sure that, see how it's like doing this weird bump? That means that it's not really lining up with the other side. So I just need to kind of squish it a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. Remember, I'm going to be sewing with the gusset up, so I kind of, that's how I pin it. I clip it sometimes too, is I push the gusset down because that's what I'm going to be doing. And then I clip it. I put a clip there. Again, I use a lot of clips. I want a nice secure, I want it to be exactly where I want it to sit. And that's where I kind of like do this little pinching thing so that it'll sit nicely. See how nice that curve is there? And that is because I'm pushing it to where it's going to line up with the other side of the bag. This way it's nice and even. I think I locked a cat in a room. Hang on. Come on. I thought you said the boy was out there. He was not. He was stuck in the room because he followed me in. I thought you had eyes on him. You always have to have eyes on him. Eyes. If you don't, then, well, you know, he can be anywhere. He's the only one that has a bell, so I know it's him when he's getting in trouble. Okay, here we go. Let's see, I'm going to need a few more clips. The other side, I usually end up using a few more clips. One, because a lot of times I end up with the ones that I was using thrown on the floor, because that's what I do. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And the other reason is because I know now I'm going to have to fight with more. So I want to make sure that it's sitting exactly where I want it. So I'm going to move you back over here, so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to stick my hand inside the bag. There we go. Inside the bag here to help me guide it when I need to. And that's why I have the zipper open. It's just a little bit easier. Okay. So let's start with my 1/8. Did I change the... I did not. All right. So we're going to keep going, and we're just going to keep an eye on it, because I don't think it has another go around. So we're going to be very careful, because I do not want to have to redo this. Okay, we're going to get to the hard pivot. And it's like, why do you worry about the hard pivot if this isn't your true seam allowance? Well, I worry about the hard pivot because I need that spot to know where it's going to be under the binding. Squish this in. Really? Stop that. I'm just marking where that pocket is, keeping an eye on that. Nope, I see it already. Dang it, Bobbin got me. Dang, Bobbin got me early too. All right. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to be pretty early or pretty late, but it gave me a false sense of security going on there. It's okay. Apparently, it wanted to only be like a 1.5 bobbin bag today. I could have sworn this was a 2 bobbin bag. At least 2.5. Where are you at? Come here. Was the summer of 69. Okay. There we go. So, this is why I lose clips. So I'm not going to like cut the thread and start over. I'm just going to push that over. You don't want to like do this all the time with your thread. You don't want to pull it through that too often, which is why running out of a bobbin is a pain in the butt sometimes. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this, stitch couple, back stitch 1. Okay. And I'm kind of having to go off ripped here, or off clip, I guess you would say. And that is because I didn't want to undo it to re-clip it. Okay, move that out of the way. Come on, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out of my stitching just to kind of get that pocket. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to make sure that when I'm doing that, I'm zigzagging so that I'm not putting more stitches in the same spot. I'm not trying to weaken that pocket. I'm trying to strengthen it. What's in the way? Oh, dang swivel hook. I gotta be careful. I have tried to sew over my screwdriver before. Okay, so now I'm coming up on this other pocket. So what I'm going to do is I want to see where it is. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over because it decided to move. Madre de Dios. Let me move all of these. I'm not going to need half of these after this, so let me clean these up real quick. Okay, move that out of the way. I'm going to squish this out here. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, pocket's right there, right? Yep. So again, I'm going to go a little right under 1/4 of an inch, back up, and then go through. Oh, shit. And apparently go completely off the range here. All right. See, that's going to strengthen the pocket, but I really couldn't do that as much if I was doing the true seam allowance. And you're like, Liz, sure you could. And you're not wrong. Underneath the binding is where you definitely want to put those extra stitches so they're not seen. Right now, I'm just trying to make sure that we're lining up nicely. Another good reason to have the screwdriver is you can really stab where you're, move the fabric in that. Okay, so sharp pivot. Let's see, gosh darn it. Sometimes the pedal is just so sensitive. I'm starting to get frustrated here. Come on. And I know why it felt a little loose there, a little extra, is because I didn't stop and re-clip stuff so that it was exactly where I wanted it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is make sure that when I did those extra stitches, that it didn't move it out of the seam. Okay, so we're good. Now I'm going to zip this up because it's a little easier to do so in the round. And we are going to double check and make sure everything looks good. You can burn off any of these threads if you feel they'll be in the way. Come on, you. There we go. All righty. Went off the range. I'm actually not going to clip that because I want to have that extra stitches. Okay. going to look at it, make sure that everything's sitting properly. I think we're good. So let's almost grabbed the brown tape. That would have definitely been an interesting binding. All right, so let me move you back over here. See, bind. Actually, that was much easier. Okay, so again, I'm just going to put that right where I need it on the edge, not on the actual flatness of the seam. Raspberry beret. Okay. Okay, so when I get up top here, I'm actually just I am going to go against the flat part of it because it just seems to work out better that way. Ooh, that was just enough. Okay. All right. Now, ow. Ooh, that hurt. Okay. So now, there we go. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do, I don't know if you could see it the last time, is I'm going to push down, flatten this nicely, all the way to where my sharp pivot's going to be, and then I'm going to push down and mark that. And then I will go back over here, set that up, clip there. Oops. I'm going to have to take care going over this section where this extra piece is because it is going to be a little thicker there. Now, I'm sure what I could do is actually put it a little lower and just sew it on to keep it out of the seam allowance. So if you think it's too thick to put into the seam, you can always go just a little bit lower. Just like put it a little lower and just sew it on. I mean, that's not a big deal. The problem is that it's much more secure like this because otherwise you're just letting your lining be the only thing that's hanging off of. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and move back over here. Oops, too far. The wires. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move these because I don't need them anymore and they're in the way. So I'm squishing down my bag. Start in the middle of the bottom. Get my back stitch going. And then we're going to sew. I'm actually going to push that back. And then we're going to pivot up. Make sure that we keep a nice seam allowance. Careful because I don't want the arm to catch on anything. Okay, I'm going to take my foot off the bloody pedal before I do this, because what I'm doing is making sure that this swivel hook doesn't get caught on the machine. So I'm having to hold it back and then curve around. See, it's trying to catch still because it's a pain in the butt. I'm going to move my zipper pull onto the other side so it too is out of my way. The funny thing is I'm not even really worried about smoothing out the bias tape. What I'm doing is mainly just making sure that I can see the proper seam. Okay, so I'm going to kind of maneuver this a little bit so that I'm still in that curve. I'm going to push that down and then push that over. Because you kind of have to look like you're going to overshoot it by just a stitch. And then you're able to do that hard pivot. All right. So every time I said pivot, how many of you went pivot? Because I know that happens a lot whenever I'm watching Lauren. I go pivot. All right, so let's see. Oop. So this is our inside with the zipper. It is a small zipper pocket. So it goes to here, right about there is where my fingertips are, right here. Now you could do a slightly smaller one higher up if you wanted to. Here we go. And that way you have more of a pocket. But honestly, you've also got your slip pocket over here, which my hand fits without raccooning. And then you've also got a swivel clip. Hang on just a second, because I kind of want to take a picture of this inside. Need you tonight. Okay. All right. Take pictures of your work. You know, you should totally be proud of your work. All right. Just making sure that everything's looking sturdy. So here we go. Okay, so I've got my handles here. Again, the way I birth my bags is I start with my hand open like this in the corners, and then I push the bag into it, like Muppet mouth, and then start to pull it. Then, before I get too far, I'm going to push in the other corner and start to pull that. That's usually when I can get a good angle to do this. And then I punch the bag. Now, what I'm trying to do is get this flipped as quickly as possible to get all the stress that I'm putting on this zipper end here, on the zipper ends, to not be there. So at this point, now I don't feel rushed to push it out because all the stress from the zipper is not on there anymore. Okay. Here we go. Alrighty. Random thread from the fabric. And I'm using the knuckle of my first finger, my pointer finger, to push out the curves. Good marshmallow. Okay, those look pretty good. I was just thinking, I probably should make a category online that says something like "as seen on TikTok," "as seen on YouTube," made with assistance from viewers like you, type thing. Okay, let me look at this side. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna say I don't hate this connector. I think it's nice. In fact, it adds kind of a bit of a weight to the bottom. I'm gonna have to think on that. I'm gonna see how everything sits. I'm also making sure that my handles line up, which they do very nicely. But there it is, all finished up. Let me get the finishing touch is the strap. Okay. Ta-da. The nice thing about a bound bag is if you see a section and you're like, I could push that out better, you still can go in and push it out. Okay, so you can see that with that hard pivot, you've got just this wee little corner there. It is a very small corner. You would have to do a bit more clipping if you wanted it to be a sharper corner. There we go. Okay. So this is my favorite bag to make. I'm happy that it came out as nice as it did, especially with using fabric instead of vinyl, and that it's all vinyl, the rest of it, which is unusual for me. So I don't know what I was thinking when I cut this bag, but there we are. So I will see you later. Bye.